I'm ready.
Okay, we're alive.
All right, folks, welcome to the City of Stonecrest, our City Council agenda meeting for July 27th, 7:15 p.m. Madam Clerk, you call us in, please.
Yes. Councilmember Jimmy Clanton,
Here.
Councilmember Rob Turner,
Here.
Councilmember Jasmine Cabo,
Here.
Councilmember George Turner,
Here.
Councilmember Tammy Grimes,
Here.
Mayor Jason Larry.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right. Councilman Rob Turner, if you do us a pleasure, please.
Thank you, Mayor. But before we have a word of prayer, let us take a moment of silence, just for a moment, to honor the memory of two giants in the civil rights movement, Reverend C.T. Vivian and the Honorable John Robert Lewis. Just for a moment of silence. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for these two great men of God who dedicated and sacrificed their lives so that we can walk in equity, equality, and dignity as a people. And for the legacy and foundation they laid that we may stand on their shoulders and be able to create the city of Stonecrest. And the way we honor them and the way we honor you is that we honor and take care of the people of Stonecrest as mayor, council, and staff. Father, I pray that we, your chosen leaders, will have the wisdom of God and the mind of Christ in all that we do pertaining to this city. Thank you for this meeting, and we invite you to have your will and your way through us tonight. In your son, Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Excellent. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, folks, we have the approval of the account agenda. Under appointments, where it's request for city manager appointment, that remains, and then I have a staff appointment. Would be staff appointment would be A, request for city manager appointment would be B.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
there was a request for a presentation, the census, what's the name of the group again?
Census Fair Count.
Census Fair Count. Yeah, they'd like to do a presentation.
About 4 or 5 minutes, maybe less.
That's fine. We'll have them as B. Census fair count.
Yes.
All right. On the presentation, there'll be B. All right.
Chair, could you repeat your first item that you wanted to add, the staff appointment, and if there was something else you added to that?
No, I just rearranged the order. Staff appointment will be A, and request for city manager appointment is B. And on the presentation, it'll be mayor, and then B would be census fair count. Okay, council, you got any other comments, changes, additions? Seeing none, I'll take an approval for the city council agenda with the aforementioned changes.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we accept and approve the council agenda with the aforementioned changes.
Second.
Properly moved and second. District 1. I think you might be on, let me see, no, you're not on mute. So properly moved and second for approval. District 1, Jimmy Clanton.
Aye.
District 2,
Aye.
District 3,
Aye.
District 4,
Aye.
District 5,
Aye.
Mayor, aye. All right. Approval of the city council agenda. We'll move to the minutes. The first is the approval of the July 9th, 2020 special call meeting.
Mayor Larry?
Yeah.
I sent an email to the mayor and council, since I was out of work last week for surgery. I asked if they would table this so they'd have enough time to review it.
Okay.
And if they could table all 3 of the minutes, I'll have them out by this week and we can read them at the next meeting.
All right. Then I'll take these individually. I move that we table the approval for the July 9th, 2020 special call meeting for next meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, properly moved in second. District 1,
Aye.
District 2,
Aye.
District 3,
Aye.
District 4,
Aye.
District 5,
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Move that the approval for the July 13th, 2020 public hearing be moved to the next meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. District 1,
Aye.
District 2,
Aye.
District 3,
Aye.
District 4,
Aye.
District 5,
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Approval of the approval of the July 13th, 2020 city council meeting minutes be moved to the next meeting. District 1.
Second.
Excuse me, second. I apologize. I need a second. So moved in second. District 1,
Aye.
District 2,
Aye.
District 3,
Aye.
District 4,
Aye.
District 5.
Aye.
Mayor, aye. All right, we'll move to presentations. I have the first short presentation of the evening.
Adrian has the presentation. He'll bring it up.
Okay. Council, what we're doing here now is we're going to, from the mayor's office, prepare a mid-year report for next meeting. And here's the what we're doing with regards to the preparation and what will be presented next meeting in its entirety. One, we're going to cover the origin and background of the city of Stonecrest and why we came into existence and what needs to happen and what has happened in the past and in the future, and the balance by which we set this entire city up as a team. Number 2, the development of Stonecrest and where we're going and what needs to happen and our future to becoming a world-class city. Yeah, I got some background noise from somewhere. So if you're not speaking, I'm gonna ask everyone to mute their
I don't understand, miss. I don't understand.
What?
Got it. Miss, don't got it.
Are you guys hearing what I'm hearing? Bill, are you hearing what I'm hearing?
Yes, I was searching for it. It's kind of hard to do that when I have that screen up. I'm looking now to see who it is. Looks like it has stopped.
Okay. All right. So we'll discuss and demonstrate the development of Stonecrest and why Stonecrest was put together and where we are to date. One of the most important things that we'll have is with regards to the balance of the city of Stonecrest It goes back to its origin and background and why we collectively created the city, and what we call the three legs on the stool, with industrial, commercial, and residential, and where they specifically belong. And I want to dispel the idiotic notion that the city of Stonecrest was created as a dumping ground. You got to be a complete ass to think that, or to be involved in thinking that we put a city together to be the dumping ground for Black people. That's the dumbest thing I've ever read, socially or personally. But we'll give very specific talks to that so that people will know, why the city of Stonecrest was created and why we're being successful and will continue to be successful. Then we'll move to department achievements and what has happened so far, and where we're going department-wise and what has happened. Then totally as a city accomplishment. What have we done as a city, since we've been involved and been together and where we're going. I want to give council, number 5, an opportunity to communicate with Ms. Iris Settle to send in your council contributions. I'd like to present that in our mid-year report. What have you done since you've been on council, and what needs to happen from there? And some of the citizens committee development, what has happened since some of the city commitment and the committees that have sat and the achievements from there. So I just wanted to give an outline for the next couple of weeks, and also give city council members an opportunity to communicate with Ms. Settle so that I can add that to the mayor's mid-year report. Thank you. All right, we'll move to the census fair count.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tish Nagisi. I am the Regional Field Director in what we call Region 2. Fair Count is the nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that I work for. It was created last year because we knew that the budget for the census had been cut by the administration. So we knew there had to be organizations that needed to be out there to count our hard to count communities. The mission that we have in Fair Count is we're dedicated to partnering with hard to count communities. Before the COVID-19, I was working with Stonecrest. There were great ideas that were coming out of there before this COVID-19 hit us, and I'm glad to be with you today. What I want to do is to talk about where your numbers are. Stonecrest in 2010 in this census, because the census is done every 10 years, had not been created yet. So the way that to determine the number of people in responses in 2010, they did areas and tracts in DeKalb County. The tracts in DeKalb County in Stonecrest, the area in 2010, the response rate was very low. If I'm looking correctly at the map, it was only 46% of the people that lived in that area responded to the census. As of July 24th, 2020, only 44% of the residents that were mailed out a survey either completed it online or mailed it back in. So we have a lot of work to do in Stonecrest. As the mayor said, I'm a product of Georgia. I lived in DeKalb County. I graduated from DeKalb County Public School, so I know the area Stonecrest. And what we want to do, and this is the first year that the city itself will be recognized in the census as being a city. So we want to be able to get those numbers up to show that they're relevant and the people are there and living in the community. How can Fair Count help? what we're doing in cities like East Point, South Fulton, is that we have, and even Clayton County, we have phone banks. We have women organizations that are actually calling into those communities to ensure that people know that they can complete the census. The census has been completed because of COVID-19. The response rate deadline has been extended into October the 31st. But that date may be in jeopardy, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Because on July 21st, the administration, the White House, sent out a memorandum to the Secretary Wilbur Ross to try to determine whether the people that are completing the census are here legally or not legally. And the wording that the president used was that they wanted to do it for the appropriate of congressional districts. I have that memo. I can give that to Adrian so that you guys can have that. And the reason why it's important to a city is your funding and your congressional district and redistricting of areas. I don't know how many council people you have, but the redistricting will be done right after the census. So it's very important that we get a fair representation for our redistricting. And if the president continues to say that he only wants to count people that are here documented and the basis of redistricting, then we're going to have a problem. This week, the Oversight Committee is going to have a meeting to, because it is illegal for the President of the United States to send out a memo to Wilbur Ross to try to determine who is here legally and undocumented so that the count will be undercounted. Some areas will not have the federal dollars and they will not have congressional representation because the theory is that they should not be counted because they're not eligible to vote at any time. It should not be counted. That is a very, very concerning update that we just received on July the 21st. I want to make sure that I get that, and I will actually give it to Adrian so that you guys can have that memo that the president sent out to Ross. So you can look at, I think it's maybe about 14 pages, because in the Constitution, it only says persons in the United States. It does not say whether a person is here legally, undocumented, or any of those things. And we want to make sure that we get everyone. Why is that important? Because it may be, if the president may change the ending date for people to respond from October the 31st, and he may shorten it to September. And before you know it, the cutoff is gone and people thought they had more time to complete the census. And so we are gearing up to make sure that people complete the census now, and we're not trying to tell them that there is a deadline of October the 31st, because it may not be. It may be shortened based upon what the Oversight Committee comes back with because of the memo that was just sent out by the White House. But what I want to offer to you guys in Stonecrest is the opportunity to either have a phone bank where we're calling citizens in your zip code. I can share the map. I'll also give that to Adrian so that he can have that map that specifically pinpoints the tracks in Stonecrest where your lowest numbers are. And that way you will know. You can say, oh, I know where that community is. We can concentrate on that, trying to get those numbers up So that's how I can help bring those numbers up with one, phone banking into your communities, two, sending you the link with the hard to count map that specifically target down communities based upon streets, and you just click on it's a interactive map, and you can just click on it, communities, a street, and determine how many people have responded so far in your city in Stonecrest. Any questions for me?
Let me just say that I will invite you to our meeting on Thursday evening, and it's going to be at 5:30, and I'll send you the information, and you can share with members of the committee. And let me just also say that I invited her on because there was an implication. I don't want to say that there was a conspiracy. There was an implication that there are those who want to make sure that certain communities are undercounted. So we need to do everything that we can do to make sure that we are counted, particularly in the African-American male population has been traditionally undercounted. And we've been targeting that demographic quite strongly. So I wanted to make sure that we got that word to everybody that time is getting very short. And if you look at the way it was done 10 years ago, once the self-counting was over, the census workers were sent out to knock on doors. Not to mention COVID. Even before that, they had determined that 10 years ago, they knocked, I believe, 8 times until they found you, or if they could find you. This time, they only scheduled to knock twice. Then they're going to give up and say they cannot find this person and you won't be counted. And this has an impact on us for the next 10 years. And there are those who would benefit from us being undercounted. Folks, just like you do for voting, you need to exercise your rights and be counted because it impacts your voting power. The funding that is set aside to come to your neighborhood, you lose whatever percentage you get undercounted by, that will be lost. Right now, our number is about 51%. And we can and will do better, but you gotta reach out and don't just tell me you've done it. Make sure you get everybody you know in DeKalb County, well, really everybody you know, to participate in the census. There is nothing to hide from. It cannot be used against you in any way. Trust that this is good for you, your community, your schools, your hospitals, your nursing homes, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So I will send out the information for the Census Committee meeting on Thursday at 5:30.
Great, thank you so much for that. And that is so true. Because the city that's just getting started at Stonecrest, we want to ensure that the federal dollars that's allocated for each citizen, and at this time, it was $2,300 per person. That would be missed for 10 years. That was $2,300 per person every year for 10 years. Every year for 10 years. You only have the one opportunity to do that. And there's been so many obstacles that have been in the way to make sure that our communities are not counted. Educating them is the best way. A lot of people in the community use the SNAP program, the WIC program. They use social programs. They may have students, they use Pell Grants. Those things are federally funded. We have grants at churches. The monies that they receive is based upon the need. If there's not a need in Stonecrest to have an after-school program, they're going to say you only have 5,000 citizens when you know you have 50,000 citizens. So completing the census is very important. And I look forward to speaking to you at 5:30 on Thursday.
Thank you, Ms. Tish. We appreciate your information. Very thorough, very, very thorough. And thank you for your service. This means a lot.
Adrian, I'll send that information to you.
Good deal. Okay. We'll move to appointments. First is the staff appointment. This is really important, and I'm just so excited about this opportunity with this person. As we continue to grow as a city, as we continue to take on better and more difficult challenges, it's a natural fit and a natural opportunity for us to add staff with regards to the mayor's office and how we deal with the many opportunities that face us. And one of those is that as we continue to grow, we have to be mindful of our relationship with our different authorities, such as the housing authority, such as the development authority, and our legislators. So I have appointed Ms. Brenda Cornelius as our legislative and authority liaison. A little bit about Ms. Cornelius, and then I'm going to let her tell more about herself. But she is one of the founding members of the city of Stonecrest. She was the original board member. She escorted us through the halls of the Capitol to make sure that we could see the correct people for years and years that we've tried to become a city and to make things palatable with regards to where we were going. Ms. Cornelia was right there, even standing in the background after we formed. She's always consulted with us to make sure that we were, being conducted on the right track. Just a short piece about her. I've known her for for years now, and even at that time, she was chief of staff for Roy Barnes, Governor Roy Barnes. Also, she will be assisting us with regards to our relationship with MARTA at the top level, and just really being the fantastic leadership arm for the city that we really, really need. Ms. Cornelius, we're honored to have you. Please give us a little bit more about yourself so that council and the folks that are listening can have a good feel for what's happening with you.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Stonecrest community. Just very briefly, I have been trolling in this community and political space for well over 20 years. Governor Barnes appointed me Commissioner of Human Relations for the state of Georgia, and I had the absolute opportunity to be his lobbyist and liaison in communities in the state to 9 million people. And it was an absolute heavy lift. As the mayor shared, I was on board early on Stonecrest initiative. I was excited that our community wanted to self-govern. And I believe that we absolutely could do that, and you are doing it. Since I left state government, I consult. I have a family-owned boutique consulting firm that I consult in community and government relations. I'm a registered lobbyist in the state of Georgia for local and state lobbying. I do a lot of campaigns over the years. I've done national, state, regional, local. I'm a 30-year plus resident of DeKalb County. My sons grew up in DeKalb, went to school, educated in DeKalb, the state of Georgia. And it's a community that I know well. Not sure what all you want me to say about myself other than I've always admired Stonecrest and what you do. I'm looking forward to being able to bring whether it's community advocates, legislators to the table. I've walked long enough in state government that I know most of them. Those that I don't know, I know how to get to know. But it's an honor to continue my support of the city of Stonecrest. I am appreciative of the opportunity. I'm open for questions if you have it. If not, I'll be contacting all the council members to pick your brain to know exactly where you are in the process as we move forward, because it is absolutely true that Stonecrest is sitting the opportunity of being a world-class city. No doubt about that. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Cornelius, and we will share all the contact information for the council people with you through Mr. Joyner, and council, you have an opportunity to have your private one-on-ones or group, however you see fit, to talk to Ms. Cornelius at that time. Thank you, and thank you so very much for joining us.
Looking forward to it.
All right. All right.
Mr. Mayor, before you move on, can you say again what Ms. Brenda's title is?
Legislative and Authority Liaison.
Legislative, and is that, sorry, one more time, can you give us a description of what that duty is?
So what she will do is communicate with our authorities that we have in place, such as the Development Authority and our Housing Authority, and she will also communicate with the legislators that are here, that are locally, our state legislators.
Okay, so is this more like a lobbyist position?
It's a legislative liaison position.
Is that similar to a lobbyist?
Well, she is a registered lobbyist, so that she can have that function. That's if she so desires or so thinks that that's in her purview to do, she can.
Okay, and one last question. Is this a Jacobs contracted job role, a hire?
This is a direct out of the mayor's office.
Councilman Cobble, I'm
Is this a part of the Jacobs contract, or is this a city employee?
Neither one. Councilwoman Cobble, I'm an independent contractor, and the contract is coming through my company, the Cornelius Group. I don't know that I would be a registered lobbyist for the city of Stonecrest unless we get down the road and it appears that my interaction with the DeKalb delegation and other state legislators is that is the role that I'm going to have to play. But I'm more of a liaison, as the mayor said, between he, council, the community. But I am not with Jacobs or any other, I'm not an employee. So I'm neither one of those.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a copy of your contract?
That's totally up to the mayor. My contract, my bio, contact information, all that's fine. Yes.
Thank you. And it's nothing personal. Just want to make sure our procurement processes are followed. That's why I was asking, were you a Jacobs employee or not? And since you are an independent contractor, we would like to see your contract and just triple check that all of our procurement processes were followed.
Well, I'm not taking it personal because it's business, it's not personal.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I just have
Mr. Joyner, is he on somewhere? Yeah. Would you please send us that if you don't mind?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, and I just have one question, Mayor, for Ms. Cornelius. Hey, Ms. Cornelius, will council have direct access to you, or do we have to go through someone to get to you if we wanted to speak to you about anything?
You have direct access to her.
Okay, that's all I need to know. So you share your information, you share her information with us, Mayor, as far as the contact?
Sure thing.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just say hello, Miss Brenda. Miss
Hello.
Cornelius. Just a matter of protocol, and it's not directed at you. It's just a matter of when we find out about this, it's always a surprise. I love surprises on my birthday. This is not my birthday. And we get surprised with these appointments. So that is something that I have been pointing to earlier. And that is that, welcome aboard, but we wanted to have a chance to take a look at the process and evaluate this before it happened. But now it has happened, and we're having to look at it after the fact. So I'm hoping that this will all work out quite well for us.
I'm sure it will.
Ms. Cornelius, I also like to welcome you and just ask, how can we as a council benefit you in your new role as a liaison?
Thank you for that question. I have been doing a lot of research. I've done my due diligence to be respectful of the mayor and the council. Of course, I know a lot about Stonecrest because, as he shared, I was there in the beginning. But as we look at the projects that are on the table, I'd like to sit down either with each of you individually or as a group to get your input and your feelings. I've gone back and watched a lot of the council meetings, so I've got a good feel for how the community is feeling or not about some of the projects. I'm well aware of, on the state side, on the political side, some of the things that are down the road that will be beneficial to the partnerships and collaborations. So just to meet with you all to get some direction. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. And I just like to get your input and for you to pick my brain where it's necessary. I can pick your brain so that the community can be comfortable in knowing the direction that the city is going to go.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting with you. Welcome.
Same here. Thank you.
Hi, Brenda. Ms. Cornelius. Welcome aboard. And I'm looking forward to meeting with you just to find out how our citizens can benefit from your services as well. I think it's very important that the people, the citizens in the city of Stonecrest, understand your position, your role, and how you can work with them to get a lot of things done, accomplished with our state legislators, because that is important here in the city of Stonecrest for us and for our citizens, even more. So I'm looking forward to our one-on-one. Thanks.
Looking forward to that too. My role as Commissioner of Human Relations for the state, as I shared, I had the responsibility of 9 million people. If it was breathing in Georgia, I had to communicate with the citizens of the state. And so interfacing with community and being a bridge, whether it's the state or local level, is something I've done for many, many years and look forward to it. I always feel very comfortable that there's a common ground that we can all come together on. So once we're able to meet and I know exactly where the council sits on things and get input from the community, which you all have already started to do, I think we can find a good middle ground for everyone to at least be comfortable with the direction the city's gonna go and support it.
Awesome.
All right, we're good. Excellent. Ms. Cornelius, I couldn't be happier. Thank you so very much for joining us and your leadership and your knowledge in this area will prove to be so valuable. It'll be quick and fast. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. That was our staff appointment. Next is a request for city manager appointment. Councilman George Turner, you asked for this. I'll give the floor to you.
Oh, absolutely. Our interim city manager left us in January, I believe, or February at the latest, based on whichever memo we're looking at. And we have not had a city manager since then. And according to the charter, the mayor has the responsibility as mayor to appoint a city manager subject to the approval of city council. And we're asking that the mayor exercise his duties as a mayor and appoint a city manager for consideration of the city council. Pure and simple.
Okay. Mr. Wright, have me somebody for the next meeting. And I'll make the appointment and council can go from there.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody else?
I guess a question about that now, Mr. Wright, will you be sending us their background, their information, their resumes, or what exactly does it mean to say send somebody? I'm trying to understand that. Mr. Wright.
As I understand the charter, the mayor makes the appointments. So
I understand that. I know the charter. My question was not dealing with the charter, was dealing with the information will be sending us, or will you be sending us information concerning the candidate that you'll be suggesting or offering?
So, yes.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Sure.
At what point can we have potential city manager candidates outside of coming from Mr. Wright and Jacobs?
Well, since we have a contract with Jacobs and they are under contract with us for providing a city manager, I'm going to let them do their job. And I don't see, personally, I don't see a need to go out and spend money outside of what we already have to be able to do that. So I'm going to fulfill the council request to bring forward a city manager candidate. I'm asking Mr. Wright to do that as our contractor. And I'm going to also honor the request of Councilman Rob Turner so that you all will know prior to that person's qualifications.
Okay, so the answer to my question then can only happen when we're not under contract with Jacobs.
I'm sorry, Ms. Grimes, I missed what you asked me on this last one.
So I asked, when would we be able to entertain candidates that were not sent by Jacobs? And you said that we were still under contract with Jacobs, which I know. So my next part of that is we can only entertain those candidates when we're not under contract with Jacobs. Is that what I'm hearing?
So what I'm saying is that I'm asking Mr. Wright to
No. I know what you're doing. I'm just asking if that is indeed the case, that we can't entertain anyone other than candidates that come from Jacobs until we're not under contract with Jacobs.
I guess that would be the case if you put it that way.
I just want to be clear. Now, you know, I ask questions, Mayor. I just want to be clear.
Not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So next meeting we'll have that, and in between that, Mr. Wright, once you pinpoint that person, send their resume and qualifications to council, and then next meeting I'll make that appointment, and we'll go from there. Okay. Madam Clerk, public comments?
Yes.
Right before you start, Madam Clerk, because this surfaced during our last meeting, I am keeping the timer. So that folks know, for those of you that wrote a novel, you're not going to get through it. It's 3 minutes. At the end of that 3 minutes, I'm gonna respectfully stop Ms. Isom. Okay, Ms. Isom.
Vita Anderson. Sir, I am a senior citizen of the Miller Woods with underlying conditions and cannot have a landfill right in the front yard. It will affect the air conditioning. It will not be good for the U.S. and the community. We are asking you to get it removed. Alexis Morris. Good evening. My name is Alexis Morris, and I am a resident of Miller Woods subdivision located in Stonecrest, Georgia. It has come to my attention and to the attention of my neighbors that the city of Stonecrest, in particular, Mayor Larry, has granted the company Metro Green Recycling Plant to expand their hazardous waste company right in our backyards. This comes months right after the city allowed a 5G tower to be constructed right in the same area. These two acts alone have shown a blatant disregard for the lives and health of the families that live in this community. As a 10-year cancer survivor, I refuse to sit back and allow this city to kill me, my family, and neighbors. When I ran for District 2 City Council in the inaugural seat, several people in the community and neighborhoods doubted the city's ability to thrive and function. They doubted the authenticity and character of the charter members of the city, and many were adamant that the sole purpose of pushing the charter for the city was an effort of charter members to pad their pockets with financial opportunities, some of which were already in progress. We already were skeptical about economic development as many businesses were started and left as neighborhood eyesores, diminishing already struggling poverty values. This decision to move forward with this hazardous project confirms the fact that this was nothing but a personal business venture all along. I am saddened to have to admit that my neighbors were right. Our city government has failed us, or should I say our city government has tricked us. While many are marching and protesting that Black Lives Matter, our city government is committing genocide right here in our own backyard. It is happening at the hands of Black leadership, people we elected to protect us. I am asking that the county, state, and federal leaders step up and intercept this matter. We are asking for an emergency injunction against the city and to force the mayor to halt construction while a proper investigation is held to ensure that proper procedures were taken to obtain a permit. We know as a matter of fact that proper notice was not given to the residences. We are aware of the zoning allowances. However, there are hazardous issues that would have required proper notice to be given and a public forum. I have observed several postings since residing in this neighborhood. I would challenge the company to show by photograph the public notice posted. I can guarantee that it was not large, bold, or on gold paper like the rezoning notices. When our neighboring business, Max on the Miller, attempted to get a license to operate her business as a club, her postings were deemed unacceptable as notice. Ultimately, she, a Black female business owner, was not allowed to proceed, and there was no or poor attendance to any of the hearings.
That's it, Matt Tyson. That's 3 minutes. Thank you.
Dante Clark. Hello, I am a resident of Miller Woods, a 30035 area, and have just been made aware that there is a recycling plant being built at 5152 Snapfinger Woods Road. As a long-term citizen of this area, I feel like it is very uncivil for construction to even start without acknowledgement to the taxpayers of this community. Not only is this area near hundreds of families, but also this is near 2 schools. This type of place should not be near families, period. But it should definitely not be the newest health concern that we have to be worried about when it comes to children, especially not with the national pandemic going on. The building of this recycling plant will affect the whole community from young to old, with problems ranging from lower poverty values and odors to pollution and to our health and well-being. Today, I am sending you this email to ask you to help put a stop to this recycling plant. Kamla Gonzalez. My name is Kamla Gonzalez, and I'm a resident of the Miller Woods subdivision, located in the city of Stonecrest, County of DeKalb. It has come to my attention that Mayor Jason Leary approved a permit allowing Metro Green Recycling Plant to expand their hazardous waste company in my community. There were reports that the city of Stonecrest was launching an investigation into the permitting of Metro Green Recycling Plant. A stop order was placed after a unanimous vote by the city council to launch an investigation as to who actually approved the permit. There is speculation regarding the approval of the permit. It has been suggested that the permit was approved by Environmental Protection Division, therefore bypassing Stonecrest City Council. However, Mayor Leary announced Tuesday on July 14, 2020, that he was lifting a stop work order. The city said it was worried about possible legal action from Metro Green. I am concerned about the negative health hazard this recycling plant will have in my community if this plant continues to operate. There is concern that dust particles from concrete, drywall, plastic, and other materials would pollute the air, making it harder for residents with chronic respiratory disease to breathe. Minorities account for more than 90% of this community, and statistics show minority children have a higher prevalence of asthma. The plant is located between 2 zoning areas, and proper notice was not given. I am asking for construction to be halted and the stop order reinforced until a thorough investigation can be done. According to an article written in the AJC on July 16, 2020, Stonecrest Citizens Group focused on environmental safety questions, Mayor Leary's commitment to having high quality communities. At this time, I'm asking for you all to get involved, investigate, and deny Metro Green recycling plant expansion in our Stonecrest community. Respectfully, Kamala Gonzalez. Tony Wilson, good morning. Mayor Larry, City of Stonecrest City Council, Director Wheeler, and Ms. Reed. Please read my email during the public comments portion of the City Council meeting. First, I stand in opposition of the development of the Metro Green 3 recycling facility being constructed in the area of Snapfinger Woods Drive and Miller Road. This business is located in very close proximity to neighborhoods, medical offices, and schools. Secondly, I question, if the City of Stonecrest does not have a solid waste management plan, how can Mayor Jason Larry approve this project? Why wasn't this recycling project deferred or transferred to the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners, who provides SWMP oversight for solid waste disposal for unincorporated DeKalb County and the City of Stonecrest? How was Mayor Larry able to state in writing all requirements were met for the project to move forward when at least 2 letters from a Stonecrest City employee stated the opposite? My subdivision, where I have been a homeowner for over 25 years, is directly across the street from this development. I never saw signage about this project. When and where was signage posted soliciting public comments about Metro Green? Thirdly, over the last 2 decades, the Atlanta metro area has witnessed several major conversions of industrial, manufacturing, and military sites. Here are a few examples. Fulton Cotton Mill lost, Atlantic Station, Ponce City Market, Atlanta Beltline, Tyler Perry Studios, West Side Park at Bellwood Quarry. Finally, why are Mayor Larry, councilpersons, and Director Wheeler moving Stonecrest and South DeKalb in the opposite direction of these wonderful communities? Residents of South DeKalb also want a thriving and viable community where we live, work, and play without being surrounded by industrial sites. I implore all of you to hear the voices of the residents from Stonecrest and South DeKalb. Stop Metro Green 3 Recycling Center from coming to Stonecrest and South DeKalb. Thank you, a concerned South DeKalb resident, Tony Wilson. Piper Green, to the Stonecrest officials. For the past few months, the community has been quite vocal about our displeasure with the businesses being dumped into South DeKalb by the Stonecrest mayor and officials. If a business needs an area rezoned to a heavy industrial category, please be advised the community does not want it. We don't care if a site was previously a toxic site and it closed down. That doesn't mean we want another one to take its place. For the record, the South DeKalb residents do not want the following businesses: concrete recycling plants, asphalt companies, landfills, or any type of heavy industrial businesses. The South DeKalb community wants to breathe fresh air. We don't want Metro Green Recycling or another concrete company building in our residential areas. The Miller Road Metro Green site is surrounded by hundreds of homes. It is within walking distance of 2 schools. The South DeKalb community does not want the Maddox Road or Lithonia industrial areas to be rezoned as heavy industrial, period. I doubt seriously if most people would have voted for Stonecrest if they knew the true intent behind the formation of this city. It appears that this city was started as a gateway to dump toxic businesses into a predominantly Black community. Listen to your constituents and not the white businesses who are using you. Listen to the DeKalb County residents. We are all watching you. We are alerting the media to watch you. Don't allow environmental racism to destroy the residential communities of South DeKalb. We can't breathe if you do the will of business owners who don't care about South DeKalb. Black lives should matter to the Black elected officials of Stonecrest. Based on the current dumping of toxic businesses in our area, it doesn't appear that Black lives matter to you. Do the right thing, Piper Bunch. Malika Wells. My name is Malika Wells. I am a homeowner and resident of Stonecrest. These are my public comments regarding case number 20CV5052, a case against councilperson Jasmine Koppel in the Superior Court of DeKalb County. I am not a lawyer. However, this lawsuit seems frivolous and I hope it is dismissed. Ms. Koppel should be represented according to the highest ethical standards. Will the city attorney represent Ms. Koppel in this matter? Also from Malika Wells. My name is Malika Wells. I am a homeowner and resident of Stonecrest. These are my public comments regarding the mayor's recent appointment of Chief of Staff, Chief Liaison Officer. I did not see the above referenced office mentioned in Article 3 of the city charter. Rather than an appointment, it seems this is an employment position and should go through a hiring process. Also from Malika Wells. My name is Malika Wells. I am a homeowner and resident of Stonecrest. These are my public comments regarding the July 13th council meeting. In said meeting, Mayor Larry caught a resident's public comment an idiot book he was not going to listen to. This is not the first time I've witnessed such a response from the mayor to public comment. I find it unbecoming conduct for the office of mayor as it communicates disdain for public opinion. The mayor must lead in the area of encouraging civil public discourse to include public comments and civil engagement among all city residents. Michelle Carrington. Greetings, Ms. Reed. As a concerned senior citizen, I would like to bring to your attention the excessive speeding that constantly occurs on Snapfinger Woods Drive, specifically directly across from the Panola Gardens Senior Resident Building. It happens during the day and turns into a drag strip at night. This, I'm sure, is in part due to the lack. There are no lights or stop signs on that strip from Panola Road to Emory Hillendale Hospital and back on either side, despite the community's effort to ask for a traffic light in years. Although I do not know which agency handled this, I did notice a recent installment this week of what appears to be an electronic traffic sign. I'm not sure if that may click the speed of a vehicle. We thank Rob Turner, Pledge Joyner, Lorraine Cochran Johnson, Patrice Keeter, and many others who have helped so far. We are grateful for this, but would like to know. My question is, does this replace our long-standing request for a much-needed traffic light? And if not, when will a traffic light requiring a full stop be installed so we can adequately address the continuously dangerous conditions that will stop the free flow of high-speed traffic before, God forbid, innocent lives are lost? Thank you and everyone for your help. Kentwell Lane, my address is 2450, Deborah Constable. My address is 2456 Kentwell Lane, Decatur 30035 in the Windsor Downs subdivision. My backyard faces Miller Road, which is across the street from the site of Metro Green Recycling. I am concerned that this development will impact my health and property value. Our subdivision was never notified of the zoning change, so we were not aware this was going to happen. Our property values are finally rising to meet other areas in the county, and I feel that this will set us back again. I have lived in my home for more than 20 years and have no desire to move anywhere else. I respectfully request that this development be moved to another location and the area rezoned to residential. Thank you for your consideration. Deborah Constable. Faye Cofield. I have been a resident of what is now Stonecrest for over 25 years. From the beginning of conversations about creating the city of Stonecrest, I stated my opposition. I have observed those pushing for the city and those who were behind the scenes pushing for a city. And what I concluded and publicly stated was the only purposes of a city was to, 1, dilute Black voting power in DeKalb County, 2, allow developers to build developments which have been denied or would be denied by DeKalb County, 3, to serve as a dumping ground for negative things that were needed but not allowed or wanted in DeKalb, Fulton, Henry, or Gwinnett County. The high-end businesses, developers, and retail development we were assured were waiting for us to become a city so they could move here never materialized. Instead, what citizens of Stonecrest have found themselves in is a continued battle to prevent personal care and group homes, additional liquor stores and gas stations, along with storage facilities. We are constantly bombarded with lovely photos of proposed development only to realize they do not match existing land or something completely different is built. We have also been involved for over a year in a battle to remove a sitting councilwoman because she misses 2 meetings, which she stated she would not be attending in advance. In the 3 years since its formation, Stonecrest has seen little, if any, positive development. We still have the same 2 grocery stores, Publix and Food for Less. The majority of housing being developed in Stonecrest is the same urban type that has been duped in the area. Almost every condo townhouse project is the exact same. The apartment development is for low income, or as they like to say, market rate. The sports complex, which caused many to vote for certain elected officials, has never even turned a blade of grass at the site. In fact, despite their statements to the contrary, they never owned the land or any building associated with it. The city has now purchased 2 abandoned buildings at a declining mall and wants a tax increase. What have you done as a city to warrant a tax increase other than buy buildings and make empty promises? Jackie Alexander, no one is above the charter. Councilwoman Cobble, you missed the meetings, not anyone else. If the 18 citizens want to challenge that issue, they can. The only thing I regret is not being number 19. Damian Lewis, hello, my name is Damian Lewis and I live in McKenna Square Townhomes at Covington Highway and Phillips Road. Trying to see if me and my neighbors needed to come to any meeting today at 7 to let you know that we are against the building of the concrete recycling plant. We are about half a mile across the street from the proposed site, but will be the first ones affected by the noise and pollution. Peggy Farron, when will the asphalt company start working or open? Danielle Milliner, support the mayor. Council members, you all should support our mayor for his vision and development of the city. He has managed us through this entire city development with 0 taxes. Our roads are paved, jobs are being created, and we're doing just fine. Let's support our mayor, Danielle Milliner. Arlene Holmes, my name is Arlene Holmes and I live in the Millerwood subdivision. It's really unfortunate that our government body seems it's okay to allow Metro Green to build a construction waste plant literally in our backyard. Regardless of what the area is zoned for, there are several families that live in this neighborhood that are affected by the decision to allow this. I truly hope that the government body that was voted in by the families in the neighborhood make a stand against this plant, as well as the asphalt plant that is trying to come into our neighborhood. Thank you, Arlene Holmes. That is the last comment.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. I appreciate that and all the comments. All right, we will go to our public hearing. We'll move to ARZ 20-002, 6892 Maddox Road. Rezone the property from M Light Industrial to M2 Heavy Industrial. That will be Mr. Wheeler.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, Mayor and Council. It has been brought to my attention that the applicant, Mr. Ryan Teague, is going to ask for a deferral of his application to have a continued dialogue with staff regarding his application. Therefore, staff will hold off on doing a presentation, but since we did advertise the application, we still are required to have the public hearing. So I would suggest that we open the public hearing for those who are for and for against the application, and leave it up to City Council if they want to grant the deferral of the application. And Mr. Teague is here to make the formal request as well.
All right, then I'll take a motion to open the public hearing for item number A.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we open public hearing for item number A.
Probably be best to read it out, Councilman.
Oh, I'm sorry. RZ 20-002, 6892 Maddox Road. Rezone the property from M Light Industrial to M2 Heavy Industrial.
All right, properly moved. Do I have a second? I'll second.
Yeah, I'm not ready to vote yet. Did we get this package sent to us? Although I've seen parts of it. And as a matter of the agenda, the package is normally sent for our review. Is Ms. Reed still on the line?
Yes, I'm still here. I sent that package out this afternoon. I was having difficulties, but it should have come out around 5:30, 5:45. It should be in your email.
Okay, about 15 minutes before we started
Yes, it
session.
was, right,
Okay.
yes.
I have not officially seen it. I've been following this in bits and pieces, but in terms of getting the complete package, I don't have it.
Okay. So what's your pleasure, council? Would you like to, well, first of all, we still have to have the public hearing. So we still have to have the public hearing. And what I suggest is that in the midst that you council does not feel as though they've had enough time to peruse the actual zoning matters, then my choice certainly would be to advise for the deferral. But as we're here today, we'll open the public hearings. People will have their say, and then when there's appropriate time, if it's okay with you, Councilman George Turner and the rest, let's move for deferral so that you can have the proper amount of time to investigate and to go over the package properly. How does council feel about that?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay.
Mayor, I would like to make a request as well. If the council decides to grant the deferral, I would request that we have another public hearing because there appears to be some confusion regarding for some applicants who want to give their comments regarding this application. Apparently, they left the meeting early instead of staying around to actually give their comments. So I would request that we have another public hearing and for them to be able to actually come in person in City Hall to give their comments instead of just normal, either way, either send it through email or actually attend comments in City Hall.
I think that's an excellent idea. Excellent idea. All right, so we can serve all folks and the community by doing each of what we mentioned. Mr. Clayton, seems as though that you were going to say something and I interrupted you. I apologize.
Oh, it's not a problem, Mr. Mayor. I'm in agreement with the deferral. However, I do think Councilman Turner has a valid point in that if we don't get the packages in a timely manner, then it's a disjustice to everybody, the public, the council, as well as the applicant. So I think it would be in the best interest of just the proceeding to move forward to a deferral. But as we all have noted that, we will have to go through the public hearing since it is on our agenda. But we should, as Mr. Willis say, have an additional public hearing prior to the next meeting or at some point in time.
Okay, then I will take the responsibility for you all not receiving it, days ahead of time. We have, when folks are out for surgery and some other things that are happening, and during this pandemic, we have to manage our time and resources the best that we can. But still, again, that's on me as the administrative leader, and this will solve several issues with regards to where we're going. So I did open the floor with regards to the public hearing, and Councilman Rob Turner actually read the motion for it. And did I hear a second?
Yeah, I think you second.
I think you did, but I have another question while we're talking about public hearings.
Okay.
And the fairness thereof. At the last public hearing, we had an opportunity for the developer to be represented by council, and they represented themselves on Zoom in front of the council. And I know what we're trying to do with COVID, but the public doesn't have that equal time to address the council by way of Zoom. So they're really not getting equal time, in my opinion. Is that something that we can find a platform to address?
So if I may, and then I'll hand it over to Attorney Hazard. One, we didn't actually have a mandatory practice with regards to that. However, you know what, Attorney Hazard, let me let you do your job. I stepped in. You may opine. I apologize.
Sure. So with zoning public hearings, it's required that both sides get 10 minutes to speak. And so when we open the zoning public hearing, we always make sure that there's a timekeeper. It's a cumulative 10 minutes. So those for or against the application get 10 minutes each, and we make sure that there is always a timekeeper. So there was actually equal time afforded to both sides.
But the way it works is that the applicant makes a presentation in public hearing, and the public gets 10 minutes or equal time to respond to it. If they've already sent their concerns in prior to them making their application, how can it be considered a response? And the applicant gets the advantage of using Zoom to make their presentation, and we can ask questions if we're so inclined. But the public does not get that same benefit in terms of hearing the presentation and by way of Zoom.
Councilman Turner, I don't mean to interrupt you, but they do have the opportunity by attending comments in City Hall. That's why we open up City Hall for them to do public comments, so they can actually hear and watch the presentation and then give comments. We did that at the last Planning Commission meeting. We had one resident who was actually in attendance for the meeting, saw the presentation, and then was able to give a public comment for that. So they can do that. So we open it up for those who do not feel safe enough to come in City Hall, but those who do come in safe enough, they have the opportunity to actually hear the presentation live and still give comment. And for those who don't, you can always submit it beforehand, because essentially your presentation is just the application and the staff report. Essentially, that's what all it is. The only thing the applicant is doing is submitting supplemental information, and pretty much is not really criteria that's used to make your determination. That's all in the application and staff report and so forth. But I understand what you're saying, that there may be a few tidbits that the applicant may have spoken that may change some people's minds and so forth.
And actually, for clarity, what's afforded is that those for the application get to make their argument, those against the application get to make their argument, and then if there's time remaining, those for the application get to respond.
Right. Again,
those against the application don't have a portion to respond.
Okay, I understand. I just wanted to make sure that Mr. Wheeler, you're saying they do get a chance to respond in real time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If they choose to come into City Hall, social distancing and all that, they can still view the Zoom meeting live in person, and then give comment as normal as you would be. But again, we encourage for people to send their comments in, because again, the whole COVID-19, but we still have the opportunity for people who feel like they want to actually be in person and to give comments though.
Make sure we have equal access and equal time. Okay.
Yep.
Councilmember Turner, I'm sorry, Councilman Wilbur-Cobble. I just spoke with the ladies that are at the City Hall right now. There were 3 people that showed up to the council chambers, and they only had public comments. They were not there for the public hearing. So they were allowed to come in, and they just left their comments and they left.
Okay.
Sorry, council member.
No, you're fine. No worries. Attorney Hazard, are there any other cities who are doing virtual meetings and including virtual public hearings that require people or residents to come into the building in the pandemic to actually have the opportunity to hear the applicant and then make the response? Or are other cities using the Zoom platform to allow comment for public hearing after the presentation is made?
When you say presentation, are you referring to the presentation?
The applicant. Yeah.
So the applicant, after they present their argument, you're asking if there are any cities that have Zoom?
Or some platform that allows the residents to make their comment after the applicant has made their presentation versus requiring them to come in the building to make that kind of comment.
I know I'm not 100% sure what all these other cities are doing. I know some cities are having in-person meetings, and some cities are having strictly virtual meetings where you send in your comments via email or a dedicated phone line. But I'm not sure if any cities have sort of let their citizens interact via Zoom.
Okay, so some of the constituents have raised their concern that, and I hear what you're saying, Mr. Wheeler, that we've provided the opportunity for them to come in the building in a manner of social distancing, but there's been many concern that residents have to almost risk their lives, right, in a pandemic to come in the building to make a comment after hearing the applicant. Otherwise, the safest manner is to send the comments in before the applicant makes their presentation. So I have to kind of choose if in a pandemic, I'm going to come out to the building just so I can have the equal opportunity or my citizen right to make a comment after hearing the application or the applicant make their presentation. So I understand that we kind of, have created a channel, I guess, but that channel is, kind of risk my life to make a comment after the presentation or make my comment before the presentation and stay safe. So I was just curious how other cities are handling that. Are many cities doing public hearings in the pandemic? Have we heard any other concerns from any other constituents in different cities? We're just trying to get a really good understanding of how to explain to a constituent, yes, you can make a comment after a presentation, but only if you come out in the pandemic to do so.
This is what I don't know any other way for them to do it at this current way where we have it set up right now, unless they try to submit stuff in real time. Then again, I do not know how, unless council or administration decides we want to do something else, but this is the information that I was provided. This is how we want to be able to still provide comments to residents and so forth. And I think the thing, I think honestly, the only thing is it would be the same way as you would, well, hold on, let me, I understand what you're saying.
Like, is there not the opportunity to have the constituents to come to make their comment in Zoom, in this platform that we're using?
I would let communications and administration determine that. I mean,
we may have to upgrade the Zoom account, but
I've said at the onset when we first addressed this issue, probably about a month or so ago, that one of the options could be via email while we're live, so that a constituent don't have to be on Zoom, which may be a security issue, and then which will be a security issue. And then also they don't have to come to the city council, but they will have three choices now. They will have a choice to submit prior to, they will have a choice to show up at City Hall, or during the public hearing, they can submit an email to our city clerk, and that email can be read in line, or at some point within a 10-minute framework. And then and so that we won't have to step out of the bounds of the 10 minutes. Now, the big question is what is legal and what is legally required. And so if we are, and I do think we should certainly consider our constituents as far as making certain that their voices are heard and heard in the proper order. So, with those three choices, and if that's within the legal bounds, I think we should, at least look at the email thing, and that would be an easy fix, in my opinion, as far as getting that input from our constituents without giving up security issues.
Right, and is it possible that we could consider extending the 10 minutes?
Yes, you can always do
council can decide to extend the 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, and I mean, I'm just saying, administratively or not administratively, I guess in functionality, it may take a little bit more than 10 minutes, especially if it's coming in during the presentation, or maybe we, pause for 3 minutes and allow the clerk to see what's coming in. Maybe 10 minutes might, be a little bit short, just trying to get the function correct.
So in some
time doesn't run until the comment is actually being read. So if there's like a dead period in between the comments, we stop the time.
Okay.
If I could answer some of the questions, I think it would clear a lot of this up. Every day, city clerks from all across Georgia are emailing, and we're discussing what is the best way to do this and how do we do this. And this is all new to everybody. However, during the meetings, I constantly check my emails, make sure that if I'm getting a public comment, that it's going to be read in the time. Now, if I get a public comment at 9 o'clock at night, we've already passed the public comment stage, so I won't read it, and I'll email the person back and say I can read it at the next meeting if that's what you choose. As far as like rezoning cases, I'm getting emails right now about rezoning cases, and we're going to read them into the minutes. The council chamber is open, and it's set up so that people can socially distance in there. Unfortunately, you all can't socially distance when you're in there because y'all are elbow to elbow. So we're just going to have to do what the attorneys have. You know, we discussed this, and that's why we deferred the rezoning cases in the past to the way that we're doing them now, so that we can get public input. I hope that answers your questions. But also, if we give out the password to Zoom, there's been cases where they've taken over, they've put pornography on the screen. It's just not a great idea. We don't need anybody messing up our computer system or embarrassing the city.
Sure. Yeah, that's understandable. I think Councilman Clinton's recommendation is workable for sure if we market it that way. Because right now we're marketing it as to send it to the clerk prior to. So we can change that marketing, like you said, to a third option where prior to is still there, but also after you've heard the presentation, they have the ability to send in some emails then, and maybe we give a 2 or 3 minute pause for them to start coming in. Then that at least does something to appease the residents who would like to comment after the applicant, but don't want to risk their lives to do that.
Okay, so I think this is a issue that we're going to have to take on for another day. Input is so noted, but as the chair, we still have a motion and second with regards to opening the public hearing. With that, we will take account for opening the public hearing. District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
District 4?
Aye.
District 5?
Aye.
Mayor? Aye. Public hearing is now open. Madam Clerk, who has our, so which of our clerks has the actual comments? Ms. Isom?
Yes, I do.
Those that are speaking in favor.
Okay, one moment.
That would be Mr. Teague. Mr. Teague can go ahead and.
Yes,
Which one was that, Chris?
yes.
Mr. Ryan Teague, he's the applicant.
I just for a point of clarification, do you want me to present this application as if it was not being deferred, or you want to have a more short presentation? I'm happy to do whatever you guys want.
Mr. Wheeler?
Mr. Teague, I would say just do a short presentation, and then once we have a continued dialogue and adjust and look at your application, then we'll go from there. Short presentation, and then the reason for the deferral should be sufficient.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you guys for hearing our application. I appreciate the time. I would like to open out. My name is Ryan Teague. I'm an owner, president, co-president, and also the lawyer for our company. And we're excited about the opportunity to have the option to operate in Stonecrest and be part of your community and be an active business participant. I'd like, for the outset, we're certainly perfectly happy with the deferral to allow for more comment and more discussion. We're always in favor of that. And we want to have an active participation from the community. And I'll say, also that I prefer sitting down in person with everyone who has concerns and talking to them individually and talking that through. And because of the COVID-19 situation we're in, that's made it a more difficult thing to do. But I'm always happy, and I've made the comments at the Planning Commission at the community meetings that I would not only be happy to, but I prefer sitting down with anyone who has questions or concerns in person or in a group setting. So I'm always open to that and can make myself available for that. We are submitting an application for rezoning 6892 Maddox Road. It's a 50-acre parcel, which is a larger piece of property than our company would need for an asphalt plant. We typically need 5 to 10 acres for operating an asphalt plant. That's how we operate in other parts of the state. Typically, you have an asphalt plant inside of a rock quarry. That's where the most limited impact you're going to have of asphalt operations on the community. And we, like many have said, we much prefer to be in what is an industrial area where we have the most limited impact on anyone around us, where other trucking companies, concrete companies, other types of heavy industry are operating. From the outset, I would say we thought this was an ideal location because this site has been an asphalt plant operation site for many, many years from a previous contractor that predated the incorporation of the city of Stonecrest. The rock quarry has been in operation for many years prior to that and is in continuous operation, and other heavy industry is operating on that site today. So we wanted to submit this because so that we could basically continue the use of that site for asphalt plant operations. But we are certainly open to all comments and thoughts, and are happy to sit down with anyone to discuss. And but most important thing of being is that we think you have a wonderful community. We want to be part of it, and we think it's a good opportunity for the growth of our company and the growth of your community, and that we provide support and for building out the infrastructure of cities, counties, and state every day. I'll take any questions.
All right. That was the applicant, Mr. Wheeler. Do we hold the rest of his time and then go to those that are opposed? All right. Mr. Teague, you have time remaining. We'll come back to you. Ms. Isom, those that are opposed.
Okay. The first one says, "Dear Stonecrest officials, on behalf of Citizens for a Healthy and Safe Environment, we are writing this letter to respectfully request that the rezoning application for Baldwin Paving Company be denied. We are submitting this request for the following reasons. 1, they have not properly notified the community of their plan to rezone the designated area. 2, the owner has not presented an environmental impact study. 3, they are zoned M1, which is the zoning approval by Stonecrest officials. And 4, Baldwin Paving Company will be operating in an area that consistently emits dangerous volatile organic compounds, toxic chemicals, crushed concrete, and other poisons polluting the air. These chemicals subject the residents to more respiratory illnesses. 5, Baldwin has had numerous violations reported to the EPD, and we do not want to be subjected to the following: A, tanker trucks turning over spilling asphalt; B, hydraulic and diesel oil spills; C, heavy dust blowing from the asphalt plant; D, water contamination and air pollution. Baldwin Paving Company should not be allowed to operate an asphalt plant in Stonecrest. We're tired of being victims of environmental racism. Sincerely, Renee Cal, President of Citizens for a Healthy and Safe Environment." This one is for both 002 and 003. Actually, I'll have to read it twice. My name is Malika.
Tanya,
Yes.
make sure you only speak about this application. Once we open the other application, we can talk about the other application.
Okay. My name is Malika Wells. I am a homeowner and resident of Stonecrest. These are my public comments regarding RZ 20-002, 6892 Maddox Road. Rezone the property from M light industrial to M2 heavy industrial. I do not support rezoning of the aforementioned properties from light industrial to heavy industrial. City Council. First of all, let me state that I am against industrial businesses anywhere near residential areas because it's bad for your health, the environment, and they do disturb the look of the neighborhood. When an area is rezoned from M1 bad to M2 worse, you need to be concerned about your decision-making as to its location. RZ-20-002 Baldwin's Paving Company at 6892 Maddox Road. I visited this area and it is already heavily occupied by a mixture of light and heavy industrial businesses, probably for many years. So I really don't think it will make much difference to rezone this area to M2, with it being where a previous and similar company once was. I recommend this area stays zoned M1. Hello, Ms. Reed. I am a citizen of Stonecrest and wanted to express my opinion to rezoning any area or property in the city of Stonecrest from M1 to M2 zone. This is hazardous to our health and not supportive of our housing property value if these type of industries are allowed to occupy in our city. Please note, any member who are in favor of such industries show their lacking care for the citizens of this county and city. I have been in more Zoom meetings in all my 25+ years of being a resident of DeKalb County in the last month. I have never had to fight so hard for what is right, other than racist opposition and systemic racism against Black people as a whole. To even have this as a discussion tonight is a slap in the residents' face. We allow the city to be formed to bring better business and support to our community, not kill us slowly. We must have chosen the wrong leadership if this is what we must worry about, and not even have been informed properly, using weak loopholes to avoid getting the insight and to hear the voices of the residents. It's distasteful and disrespectful, to say the least. Again, I will be in attendance tonight, and it is very disappointing in the leadership of the city of Stonecrest. Also, please place on record myself and the 7 other voters in my home is in opposition of any rezoning property located in the city of Stonecrest in any parts of unincorporated DeKalb to a heavy industrial zone, no M2 zones. Citizen and a voter, Tracy Hickman, on behalf of the Hickman Hunsucker family at 5757 Salem Road. That is the last comment.
Mayor, I do have one general comment that I got a couple residents that sent me. I just can't seem to find it. Residents would also like to have better. Why should I take that back? This is not pertaining to that. I'll say that for another time. I apologize. I'm sorry.
All right. Mr. Teague, you have a few minutes to respond if you like.
Yes, 7 minutes and 45 seconds left to respond.
Right.
Sure, I don't intend to take all that time because I know everyone's busy, have other things to do. I appreciate the consideration and I appreciate the comments that the various folks made. Certainly don't agree with all the things said there. I think the fact that the asphalt plant was operating for many years is an important factor here. The fact that the area has been operating in a heavy industrially way is very important. I guess one comments about air pollution, diesel. We're regulated very heavily by the Environmental Protection Division. I deal with that personally. Make sure that we're in compliance with that. It's important to us. And we're very proud of all our other operations, and I'll welcome anyone to come visit that and see how it's operated to show you how it's very environmentally conscious. As far as an environmental racism, I certainly would not in any way try to select a piece of property that in any way did that, based on my understanding of what that means. Our wanting to be in Stonecrest is a sign of respect for your city, because you don't have an asphalt plant in your city now. Your infrastructure is important. Building roads is important to the growth of the city, and we want to be part of that. And so we're I feel like it's our intent to show a sign of respect to the city of Stonecrest for wanting to be a part of what you're doing and the high quality city that you've already built. But that said, I'm happy to take any questions from anyone.
All right. All right, Mr. Wheeler. We've heard from the applicant. We've heard and those to also oppose. If there's no objection, I'm going to move to close the public hearing.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'll move to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, properly moved in second. District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
District 4?
Aye.
District 5?
Aye.
Mayor? Aye. Public hearing is now closed.
Mr. Mayor, now that the public hearing is closed, I have some concerns with Mr. Wheeler, and I think we have time to get it answered. But it's going to go to the question of if this had been used as a asphalt plant in the past, please explain to us why that went away and what was the rationale behind it. So I can wait on that since we're going to get another shot at this.
Yeah. All right. Well, I would say, not getting into specifics, I would say that it was under DeKalb County. There are previous heavy industrial uses that were approved by DeKalb County that when the city was formed, those uses became non-conforming under our current zoning ordinance. So, but I can get into specifics outside of that for you too.
Okay.
All right. So we'll move, unless you say different, Attorney Hazard and Mr. Willard to the next public hearing.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, because then you vote later in the agenda. Is that correct?
Yep.
I'm sorry, Attorney Hazard.
Oh, I was just confirming that you're going to vote later in the agenda.
Correct. You know, for the deferral because of what amount of time that council needed. Councilman Turner, Councilman George Turner, you didn't get a chance to read your chat. Take public hearing B, please.
Folks, okay, I will. The next item on the agenda is B, RZ 20-003 for public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to open the floor for public hearing on this item.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, sir.
I will motion that we open the floor for public hearing on item RZ. Well, item B, RZ 20-003, 2547 Lithonia West Drive.
We have a motion on the floor. Can we get a second? I'll second the motion. It's been properly moved and second that we open public hearing for RZ 20-003, 2547 Lithonia West Drive, rezoning the property from M Light Industrial to M2 Heavy Industrial. Are you ready for the question?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, can I say something? I'll wait.
Yes, sir.
In reference to the statement regarding the first number A, the same situation is for B. We did not get information, did not get a packet, so we're not in a position really to vote on this evening.
I understand, but since it's been advertised, then we have
to the public hearing. I'm fine with that.
Have the public hearing and determine what to do with it.
Council and Mayor Pro Tem, it's beginning brought to staff's attention that the applicant would like to withdraw his application at this time, and to modify and then come back at a later time. Mr. Kennebrew and Ms. Hannah Caswell of the Caswell Design Group is here. So again, staff will hold off on presenting, but Mr. Kennebrew and Ms. Caswell are here to formally ask for withdrawal. Is that correct, Mr. Kennebrew and Ms. Caswell?
Yes, sir, without due respect.
Madam Attorney, it is my understanding that once an item is placed on the agenda for to be heard, we have that option to allow it to be withdrawn. We have the option to hear it and vote to either deny it, approve it, or defer it. Is that option not still on the table?
So the public hearing will still happen, and those but for and against can speak, and then your options are you can approve, you can deny, you can approve with the less intense zoning, you can defer or permit the requested withdrawal. So the public hearing still happens, and if you agree with the applicant, you can vote to withdraw at the time of voting.
So we will move forward.
Yes.
Any other questions? Then the motion has been properly moved in second. District 1.
Aye.
District 2.
Aye.
District 3.
Aye.
District 4. Aye. District 5.
Aye.
And the mayor is unavailable at the moment. Motion carries unanimously. Public hearing is now open. We will start out with Mr. Wheeler. Please start us, please.
Again, the applicant is asking to withdraw his application. And staff is amenable to that decision at this time. Just to kind of give a quick overview, staff was recommend denial of the application. Planning Commission recommended approval, but staff does agree with the applicant to take this moment to look at the application again and review it, and maybe try to work and come to a better understanding of for all parties. That's pretty much all I've got to say on that. And Mr. Kennebrew can make his formal withdrawal request.
Okay. Any other comments from staff? And at this time, we'll hear from the applicant. The applicant gets 10 minutes to make its presentation. Mr. Kennebrew, representative, the hearing is yours.
Hi, I'm Hannah Caswell. I'm with Caswell Design Group, and we are the designers for the civil and site design for Mr. Kennebrew's site. I guess right now my statement is that we would like to respectfully withdraw without prejudice. I'm not sure if at this point I'm not familiar with the process enough to know if we should be going forward with our presentation or not. If you guys could educate me, that would be great.
I'll let our attorney do that.
It is up to you what you want to present. You requested a withdrawal. You can state why you want the withdrawal. You can explain your project. That's up to you.
Okay, Ron, do you have anything to say before I move forward with any statements?
Like I said from the beginning, I really don't know the process, and I appreciate you guys taking the opportunity to accept this application, and I don't really have any words at this point.
Okay. Ms. Coswell, you finished?
Yes. I think our last couple of meetings, we've pretty much made a presentation, and I'd rather save that, anything that we have to say for if we're able to come back at any time. I think that's why we would just rather withdraw at this time.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank
Wheeler,
you.
how much time do they have left? You're
Sorry,
on
I was
mute.
muted. I'm sorry. 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
Good. At this point, we're moving to those who are in opposition. You have 10 minutes to state your opposition. And that will be read by the clerk. Is that correct?
Should be. Yes, sir.
Ms. Isom?
Yes. Dear Stonecrest officials, after many conversations with countless residents, environmentalists, activists, government officials, it is not in the best interest of the people who live near cement manufacturing, recycling plants to be subjected to dangerous pollutants. As stated previously, we do not move here to be victims of industrialized cities. African Americans are prime targets for large corporations who have no regard for our health or our safety. Cement dust is extremely unhealthy as these particles enter our lungs at a rapid pace. Incidentally, the dust travels and does not hover over the plant. There are many residences near the 2547 West Lithonia Drive, and it is disturbing that the application for rezoning does not mention the many residences, schools, churches, and daycare centers near the cement plant. Nor was the community adequately notified of this rezoning application. Building new cities should include work and play areas, tourist areas, high quality housing, green space, and natural resources for all to enjoy. We enjoy not having to travel to dine at restaurants that are at great distances from our home. Please deny the application and build something that we can be proud of. Sincerely, Renee Cal. My name is Maleka Wells. I am a homeowner and resident of Stonecrest. These are my public comments regarding RZ-20-003, 2547 Lithonia West Drive, rezone the property from M1 light industrial to M2 heavy industrial. I do not support rezoning of the aforementioned properties from light industrial to heavy industrial. City Council, let me state that I am against industrial businesses anywhere near residential areas because it is bad for your health, the environment, and they do disturb the look of the neighborhood. When an area is rezoned from M1 to M2, you need to be concerned about your decision-making as to its location. RZ-20-003, Kennebrew Recycling Plant at 2547 Lithonia West Drive. First of all, if this company was operating without a permit, it should have been fined. This area backs up to Hillendale Road, where there is a hospital, multiple apartment complexes, homes, and a fire station. Once again, very bad for the environment. On Lithonia Industrial Boulevard, which is on the opposite side, they have light industrial for which it was zoned. I recommend this area stay zoned M1. Hello, Ms. Reed. I am a citizen of Stonecrest and wanted to express my opposition to rezoning any area or property in the city of Stonecrest from M1 to M2. This is hazardous to our health and not supportive of our housing property value if these types of industries are allowed to occupy our city. Please note, any member in favor of such industries show lack of care for the citizens of this county and city. I have been in more Zoom meetings in all of my 25 years of being a resident of DeKalb County in the last month and never had to fight so hard for what is right other than racist opposition and systemic racism against Black people as a whole. To even have this discussion tonight is a slap in the residents' face. We allowed this city to be formed to bring better business and support to our community, not kill us slowly. We must have chosen the wrong leadership if this is what we must worry about, and not even be informed properly, using weak loopholes to avoid getting the insight and to hear the voices of the residents. It's distasteful and disrespectful to say the least. Again, I will be in attendance tonight, and I am very disappointed in the leadership of the city of Stonecrest. Also, please place on record that myself and the 7 other voters in my home are in opposition of rezoning any property located in the city of Stonecrest and any parts of unincorporated DeKalb to a heavy industrial zone. No M2 zones. Citizen and voter Tracy Hickman. And the last comment is in support of.
Thank you. Anyone else know of any comments or communications in opposition? Ms. Coswell, I have to notify you that you do have 7 minutes and some change,
30.
7 minutes and 30 seconds to rebut if you're so inclined.
We also, I'm sorry, after Ms. Coswell speaks, that the public comment you have in support of Ms. Isom, if there's time left, should be read.
I'm sorry?
The public comment that Ms. Isom said that was in support of the application.
Yes.
Should be read if there's time left after Ms. Coswell speaks.
Yes. Ms. Coswell.
Yes, is there any way that we can have that read before I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello, my name is Alexis Ross. I am writing this letter as a notice of support for the manufacturing of concrete at 404 Concrete. I'm a resident of the city of Stonecrest, and I'm writing to ask that the mayor and board members allow the manufacturing of concrete at 404 Concrete, located just off of Covington Highway. The plant is a Black-owned business currently staffed by over 30 Black men. The owner, Ron Kennebrew, grew up in the area and is more than invested in helping the city flourish. Just over 3 years ago, he purchased about 20 acres of land near Covington Highway and Lithonia West Road. As a military vet and third-generation construction worker, he felt compelled to invest in himself, his family, and the community to create jobs based on his trades and previous work experience. Although the portion of the land that currently serves as a space to manufacture concrete is zoned for light industrial work under the City of Stonecrest ordinance, making it against code to manufacture concrete, the property's status as a light industrial zone did not prevent Mr. Kennebrew from this aspect of his business at the time of purchase. My hope is that the community not confuse the environmental effects and intentions of 404 Concrete with that of Metro Green. Currently, the land serves as a space for contractors to pick up and drop off dirt, trees, and mixed concrete. I also encourage those concerned to visit the site and see that it is located at a dead-end road far away from any residents. Best regards, Alexis Ross.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Coswell.
Yes, thank you very much. I have a few things just to say briefly that every single property that is adjacent and abuts and bounds our property or Mr. Kennebrew's property is industrial property. There's no residential property that touches his property, and the heavy industrial property is approximately the closest one that is zoned heavy industrial, rather, is about 2,700 feet north of his property. There are also two properties that are not zoned heavy industrial, but do have heavy industrial uses. And then the other thing I'd like to note is that any environmental concerns are very thoroughly addressed in our design. We do have stormwater environmental addressed with filters, with 3-bay wash, with detention and water and filtration pond. And so water quality is addressed. And so there's 3 different measures there for the stormwater. And then as far as any air quality, that is very much addressed. And we have an extensive presentation that I'm just going to save. We've done this a few times, but I just wanted to touch on that. And let me see if there's anything else that I just needed to touch on from the letters that were read from the notes that I had made. The main thing is the schools and the residents. While some of them, may be in some proximity, and there's nothing touching his property, and we think it's a good fit in the area, and we think I know his neighboring properties, the rest on Lithonia West Road, they're all in agreement with his development. None of them have a problem, and the hours would be conforming with what the council recommended when they did the approval or they recommended approval from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I know that Ron, Mr. Kennebrew is willing to conform to anything that's recommended. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Haven't heard from those in favor and in opposition to this item. Is there any reason we should not close public hearing? I'll entertain a motion to do so.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion that we close public hearing on RZ-20-003 2547 Lithonia West Drive, rezone the property from M Light Industrial to M2 Heavy Industrial.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we close the public hearing on RZ-20-003. You ready for the question? All those in favor? Well, let me go down the line. I'm so used to that. It's been properly moved and second. You ready to vote? Let's take District 1.
Aye.
District 2.
Aye.
District 3.
Aye.
District 4 is aye. District 5.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Public hearing is closed. Now, any other comments from council or staff before we move on?
I only have one comment, and this is general for both applications. It has been brought to staff's attention that the public notification in which staff sends out notification to residents within a radius is not large enough. Legally, we are required to do a 250-foot notice. However, most times staff asks for applicants to submit notifications with those within a 500-foot radius of the property. Again, that's not required. That is just something that staff does anyway. But it has been recommended or have been asked that staff to expand that radius. So at some point in time, if City Council would like to have a further discussion about that, staff is willing to take a look and review the radius of notifications and so forth.
Duly noted. And also add to that, there is some concern that we don't have these meetings in order. In fact, for this one, or for both of these, it appears as if we had the public meeting after we had the planning commission meeting. And normally that's vice versa, isn't it?
Say that one more time, Mayor Pro Tem, sir. I apologize.
There was a public hearing for both of these rezoning that occurred after we had the planning commission meeting. Did we not?
The community meetings, yes, sir. So
right, community meeting.
Yeah, so in normal cases, we had the communities beforehand, but due to trying to organize and trying to notify public and so forth, we end up having the community meetings after the planning commission. We still had the meetings, but normally we try to have those beforehand. Sorry about that, but we try to have that beforehand. Staff is went back and reviewed their steps and procedures to make sure that we do not have that problem again. Moving forward, as this seems to be our current work situation. So staff has remedied that, and so it won't be an issue anymore.
Okay, and I had suggested earlier that we consider a community council, which would make this automatic, that these meetings will occur for each rezoning.
Staff,
that is something that we can discuss as we go along. Okay, very good. Next on the item, next on the agenda, old business. We are to set a date for the Stonecrest Transportation Master Plan public hearing. Mr. Joyner.
Yes, good evening. As we discussed at the during the working session, I would just like to set the date of August 24th for the public hearing for the Stonecrest Transportation Master Plan. We'll have that during the council meeting.
Council, any objection?
Oh, also let me add, I also wanted to have a discussion about the Transportation Master Plan at the previous meeting, at the April 10th meeting during the working session.
Well, right now, we're just looking to set the date for the master plan public hearing.
Correct.
Okay, and there will be other dates in between, but the public hearing is going to be August 24th is a suggested date. Council.
That date sounds great to me.
I'm fine with that.
I'm good.
And we can do all of that even with our mid-year budget review. That's on the 24th as well.
Yes, the plan was going to have the mid-year budget review as a special called meeting previous to the working session that day.
So we'll have a special call meeting, a work session, and a city council meeting?
Yes, it'll be a bit of a slog there.
You have times on these meetings, August 24th?
I was going to propose, yeah, that was going to be the next thing in the mid-year budget review. I was going to propose doing that at 5 o'clock.
So are you saying that the Stonecrest Transportation Master Plan would be at 5 on the 24th?
You said the budget review at 5.
I was going to propose the budget, the mid-year budget review to be a special called meeting beginning at 5 o'clock on the 24th. So that would just be a separate meeting all unto itself, and then do the public hearing for the transportation master plan during have that public hearing during the council meeting that begins at 7.
Oh, this is a council meeting day. Okay.
With the thought being, we will have had an opportunity to discuss it at the working session at the previous meeting.
All right, is this just for discussion? Do we need to vote on making this happen? Well, for the record, I'll entertain a motion to set the date for the Transportation Master Plan, a public hearing for August 24th.
I'll move.
Second.
Been probably moved in second to set the date for August 24th at council meeting for Stonecrest Transportation Master Plan, District 1.
Aye.
District 2.
Aye.
District 3.
Aye.
District 4. Aye. District 5.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is to set the date for the mid-year budget review. So clarify that, please.
Yeah, so once again, to have a special called meeting so that we devote the entire hour from 5 o'clock until 6 for the mid-year budget review. Once again, with the thought being that I've confirmed that we should have all of the data and information for that available to the council by August 10th. And you'll have 2 weeks to review and prepare, and then we'll just conduct that mid-year budget review at the 5 o'clock hour on the 24th.
So, Plez, are you saying that the 5 o'clock hour be a work session, and then we would vote on the budget at the regular meeting at 7?
Councilwoman Cobble hadn't given that thought. Thank you. Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that?
So can we dedicate the 6 o'clock work session on the 24th to, oh wait, did we say the work session for the budget will be on the 10th?
No,
that's the transportation master plan.
Yeah, we're just going to have the information. So we'll have all the data for the mid-year budget review available on the 10th.
Okay, so can we dedicate the work session on the 24th to the budget review?
To the budget review,
and then vote at 7, and then we
meeting.
we can do away with the special call meeting.
Alrighty.
Awesome. If I may,
and you just got the hour back.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Sims.
if I may, what exactly would there be to vote on? So just so I'm clear.
So usually the mid-year budget review, behind that comes a budget adjustment. So like,
that is
for
a-
instance, if there's a shortfall somewhere, right, we would need
There-
to make an adjustment.
There is a possibility that an adjustment could be made. We may not walk into it anticipating an adjustment, but once we get through the work session, there may be the need to consider an adjustment, so there may be a vote necessary to pass it.
Either at this meeting on the 24th or the subsequent meeting.
Correct.
Right. And then there's always the off chance that the council has something in the budget that they'd like to shift one way or another. So there could be an opportunity for us to make a recommendation to do something different than maybe what has been on track. So I'm just saying there's always a possibility of initiatives changing, directions changing, or adjustments needing to be made.
Okay, understood.
Right.
So Mr. Sims, may I ask you a question? What were you thinking was going to happen on the 24th?
Well, I was gonna present the numbers and everything to the council, kind of where we are, to give an update basically of where we are.
Not necessarily that action was going to take place. More of just.
Right.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay.
So Mr. Sims, sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, I got another question. Mr. Sims, in your presentation, are you preparing to kind of give us a comparison of what the approved budget was in each line item, and then what it looks like kind of at the point of presentation, what percentage we've seen actuals on versus what was budgeted, so that we can see where there's a gap?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you will have that information.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments? So to be clear, we're moving this from a 5 o'clock call meeting to a 6 o'clock work session.
To the work, so that'll be the agenda item for the working session.
Okay.
And then
Do we need to vote on that?
and then any action will be taken during the council meeting that begins at 7.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I do think we need to make some sort of provision to ensure that we don't add additional items to that work session, so that we can keep the calendar clear for that. So that might mean that we may have another special call meeting or a special call work session if something else comes up, between now and then that we may need to address as a council. But for the purpose of this meeting on the 24th, we certainly should keep that spot clear somehow.
And you want to make a motion to devote 1 hour to this item during the
correct
work session?
Correct, uninterrupted. Yes. So that will be a motion, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Go
I'll
ahead.
second that.
I'm sorry, repeat that motion.
So the motion is to have a 1 hour uninterrupted work session on August 24th for the budget, mid-year budget only.
Been probably moved in second that we set aside 1 hour for the work session on August 24th at 6 p.m. for the mid-year budget review again.
All right.
Any unreadiness?
Ready?
I won't say unreadiness. I'd just like to maybe say to both our city clerk and our deputy city clerk to go ahead and write that down somewhere, so that they know when preparing the agendas that the only thing that needs to go on there is that single item of mid-year budget review, just in case if we get, like we always get, and start putting stuff and wanting stuff, and they would already know since they're the ones to create the agenda.
Can I ask a question to Mr. Sims too? Maybe it was already asked, but will he be sending us some information before that date in reference to the budget?
I believe earlier in the meeting, it was stated that I need to send that out on August the 10th.
Correct.
Is that it? Okay.
Okay. Any other unreadiness? Then let's vote. District 1.
Aye.
District 2.
Aye.
District 3.
Aye.
District 4, aye. District 5.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Folks, I'm working off of an old agenda. Next item I show on the agenda is on the new business is to vote on the public hearings. Ozzy,
We still,
Yeah,
excuse me, Mr. Chair,
actually, we
still have
added,
update on the investigation of the Metro Green Recycling, which is C, under
see,
old
I'm
business.
working up an old agenda. And that is, you said item C?
Yes, update on investigation of Metro Green Recycling Center development,
And that come under
old business.
old business. All right, item C, recycle, Metro Green Recycling update. Who's taking the lead? Attorney Denmark?
Yes, sir. Well, we have, we're well underway in the investigation and we're nearing a conclusion. The committee has met twice, I believe, by conference call. Our first order of business was to make a thorough investigation of all of the facts and documents related to the matter. There'd been a lot of discussion about what happened and when it happened, and I certainly was not in a position to say what the pertinent facts were. So we gathered all of the documents, and then I sent it out to all of the committee members, and I solicited their views in terms of what have we excluded, what isn't there. And after a couple of rounds of that, we have arrived at a place now where we feel that we've assembled all of the pertinent facts, all of the pertinent documents. Then the next step was to try to apply the law to those facts as we have gathered them. And so I solicited views on what legal issues other committee members thought should be explored. And we had a conversation about that. So now we've identified both the pertinent facts and the relevant legal issues. And I'm nearing a conclusion of my legal analysis of those facts. And it was my hope to present those this evening, but we kind of hit a snag in our conversations with EPD in terms of their role in this. So we are close to presenting to the full mayor and council a report which details all of the facts and gives a legal conclusion. I will first present that legal opinion to the members of the committee so that I can ensure that it is a document that we all would endorse. And then once we are in one accord, then we will present that report to the entire mayor and council.
Mr. Denmark, is there any reason for confidentiality until you've completed this in terms of us asking other probing questions now?
No, and what I should have said at the very outset is even I'm happy to share with the mayor and council our work in progress. You know, it would be understood that it is a work in progress, but anybody on the council who would like to see where we are at this point, I'd be happy to share that. And if anybody else on council has views, ideas, why haven't you talked about this? Why don't you add that? That's part of it, because this is really a document that's for the full mayor and council, and there's no reason why you should see it at the very, very end, as opposed to having some questions answered in the middle of the process.
Okay, that being said, council.
Let me say this, even though we are a committee, whatever, I have been receiving information from the council, from Councilwoman Cobble and different people outside of the committee that has been giving us some very relevant and important information. So whatever information you can give us, whatever insight you can share with us, we're all open to that. So yeah, it's just not, you know, our little group and nothing else. We're all working on this thing together. So we want insight and information and help if we can get this thing resolved. That's the goal. That's the key, to get it resolved and to stop this process.
Anyone else? Councilwoman? Speak now. Are we moving on?
Winston, did you mention, and I'm sorry if you already said it, did you mention when you anticipate having that to us for us to review before we meet again?
You mean the final work product or the work in progress?
No, I think you sent us, or maybe Councilman Turner has sent us an email recently on kind of the work in progress. So
Yeah.
your final kind of conclusion, when do you anticipate having that to us?
Oh man, it is truly my goal to finish it this week.
Oh, okay.
But
All
you'll have a full week to digest it before the next council meeting. That is
okay.
I'm gonna do everything in my power to make it this week.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, Mayor Pro Tem, if you don't mind, I'll reserve my comments until we get to review the final opinion. Councilman Rob Turner has given us, I think, what they have so far. So.
Okay. Anyone else? I know that officially we have lifted the stop work order. Are they still working? Are they still at a standstill?
From my knowledge, they're
working.
They're still working, as far as I understand. They're still out there laying, clearing and grading, and laying the. I gotta use another word instead of the word I want to use. I don't think it's appropriate, but laying the foundation and all this other stuff. So, you know.
Okay. Just checking.
So,
and ultimately, we will be making it, well, when the committee was formed, it was to gather this information, and we'll be making recommendations, and it may or may not involve some litigation. And that's something we'll have to decide after we get the final report, I would assume. Okay.
Sure.
Any other comments?
Mayor Pro Tem, I'd also like to mention that depending on, our conversations after we see this kind of final report, that we'd be open to a special call meeting if necessary to make sure that we come to a conclusion very quickly, because as we've pointed out that Metro Green is continuing to build, and I would imagine that they're trying to do that rapidly. So we need to also be rapidly addressing this to come to a conclusion as quickly as possible.
And I think according to the charter, we can do it within 24 hours, but 48 would be reasonable. Okay, did I talk over somebody?
No, maybe I was talking of you, which I didn't mean to. But I'm just saying this is time sensitive, so we should make this priority in reference to where we are with this project.
Great. Any other comments? All right, then we take it as information, and we look forward to the final report. Now, next on the agenda, new business, the rezoning of RZ 20002. Mr. Wheeler, you need to make a presentation?
No, sir. Again, the applicant and staff have agreed that the applicant would like to have this item deferred until to the next, till I think I would say suggest August 24th. To give staff enough time to talk to the applicant, and also give enough time to for staff, for the council to review the application, because if there's any additional information, we probably need to get to you ahead of time so you can make sure you review, and if there are questions, you can ask staff.
What state staff recommendation on this item?
At this time, staff recommended approval with conditions, and Planning Commission recommended approval with conditions as well.
No, staff's recommendation after tonight's hearing.
After tonight's hearing, I would recommend a deferral until I have the additional information and speaking with the applicant, and then I'll have a better understanding of what staff is willing to go, which way staff is leaning.
So staff recommends deferral for RZ 20002.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, may I?
Yes, sir. Please.
Mr. Wheeler, in regards to deferral, can it be deferred even farther out than that? Maybe. But only reason I'm saying that is because on the 24th, we got a lot of stuff to do. It's going to be a long night. And so would the next council meeting after that be even better, so we can, maybe, be more attentive?
I would say yes. That still work, because we've had multiple deferrals and extensions of applications. So yeah, that's fine. We've done it before. So
May I also mention that I believe we deferred the Hillendale rezoning to the 24th. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, we have, yes.
Yeah, so we don't crowd that calendar.
Right.
It is.
Okay. Mr. Clanton?
Yes,
Your
sir.
district, what's your recommendation?
I would offer a motion to defer RZ 20-002, 6892 Maddox Road, rezone for property from M1 to M2 until city council meeting on that date. I don't know. The one after August 24th.
First meeting in September?
September 14th.
September the 14th, 2020.
Second.
And properly moved and seconded that we defer this item until September the 14th, 2020. Are you ready for the question? District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
District 4? Aye. District 5?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. This item is deferred until September 14th. Next item on the agenda is RZ 20003. Mr. Wheeler, what is your recommendation after tonight's hearing?
Again, staff is in agreement with the applicant to ask for withdrawal. Again, original recommendation was deferral. Was now the application. Planning Commission was approval of this application. But after tonight's hearing, staff again it agrees with the applicant to seek a withdrawal and then have them come back again at some point in time if they choose to reapply for rezoning if they want to.
Councilman Rob Turner, you take the lead.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion that we withdraw the application for RZ-20-003 2547 Lithonia West Drive, rezone the property from M light industrial to M2 heavy industrial.
Second.
Then properly moved in second. Is that to allow the withdrawal of RZ 20003?
Yes.
All right, it's been properly moved in second to allow the withdrawal of RZ 20003. Are you ready for the question? No objection. District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
District 4 is aye. District 5?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. This item is withdrawn. I believe that was without prejudice.
Yes.
Actually, it was. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But I think that's just customary with a withdrawal, not necessarily that there's an option otherwise.
I think there's an option, but yeah, that is customary. All right. Just for clarity. All right. Now, unless I missed something, we're down to executive session. And we do have one item of litigation to discuss in executive session. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to suspend the regular meeting and go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I offer a motion that we suspend the regular city council meeting to enter into executive session.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second to suspend the regular meeting and go into executive session. District 1?
Aye.
District 2?
Aye.
District 3?
Aye.
District 4? Aye. District 5?
Aye.
Meeting is suspended while we go into executive session. Mr. Bale, I understand there's some magic things you have to do to make that happen.